I love the look of layered floral stamps, but sometimes I don't always like to figure out how to layer the stamps with multiple stamped images. If you struggle a bit with layered stamps, stay tuned. I have a really fun February stamp release from the Ton Stamps that'll make layering your floral stamps a breeze. Also, be sure to stick around to the end of the video. I'm going to be sharing some information on how you can get in on a fun giveaway where you can receive a free stamp from the Ton Stamps. This and a lot more on the Victoria Marie YouTube channel. Welcome back to the Victoria Marie YouTube channel, where I feature all things scrapbooking and crafting. If that's your jam, make sure you hit the subscribe button. When you do, click the bell indicator. That way you'll know each and every time a new video is posted. This week I'm participating in a really fun YouTube video hop with the Ton Stamps in honor of their February 2020 stamp release. In this video, I'm going to be using the Peony Memory stamp. This is a 9 by 12 inch stamp set. And what it features is a set of group layered stamps. So you can layer all of these stamps together to create a really fun layered floral image. I'm going to show you how I'm going to use this stamp on a scrapbook page. Normally when you see these stamps, you think cards, but you can actually use them on your scrapbook projects and other projects as well. Now, the cool thing about this is that the stamp set includes a set of bars and squares that help you align each of the layered groups of florals as well as the leaves. It also comes with a coordinating die, so you can cut these all out in one pass. Isn't that cool? So I'm going to show you how that works here in just a few. Now for the title, I'm going to be using another stamp set. This is called the Fill In. It's a 6 by 8 stamp set, and what you do is there are these large words like you, love, hug, smile, hello. And then there are smaller phrase stamps that you just nestle into the openings of the words. So I'm showing you an example here where you would just position the text phrase right there. And it really creates a fun effect using the text stamps. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. The first thing you want to do is you want to select the solid stamp. That's going to be your base stamp. And then you're going to layer up, adding some details. I'm going to go ahead and position my paper. For this project, I'm using some Nina Solar White 110-pound weight paper, white cardstock. I'm going to go ahead and get my stamp positioned. I'm also using some Memento ink. This is fade-resistant dye ink and lilac, lavender, sweet plum, and grape jam, or grape jelly, I believe that's what that's called. So you're going to start, whenever you're layering stamped images, you're going to start with your lighter color first, and then you're going to build up using your darker color. So I have my first stamp down. Then I'm going to use the bars and the boxes to line up the next layer of the stamp. See how easy that is? No more having to guess how to position your stamp to get that really cool layered look. Once you have that position, you're going to go in with your second darkest color. And then, of course, you're going to ink up your stamp and then stamp your image. This makes layering stamps so easy. And you're going to see how this all comes together here in a second. So now I have my second layer on, and of course you'll restamp to get as much of a clear image as you can. Now I'm going to go ahead and align the third layered stamp. This is going to add those smaller details into my flower. This time I'm going to use the darker ink. So you see why we start with the lighter and then we work our way up. I'm going to go ahead and get the third layer stamped. And once that's stamped, I can see my flower coming together, and that looks really, really pretty. Next up, what you want to do with this stamp set is you want to stamp your leaves. So you're going to start again with your solid image, and then you're going to work up with your more detailed images. These leaves also have the bars and the boxes, so you know where to line it up. So what you'll do is you'll take your leaf or your foliage stamp, and you're going to go ahead and line it up towards the bottom of your flowers, and you'll just align the box and the bar. I'm actually going to use 3 colors. You're going to see the third color here in a second. The 3 colors that I'm using are called Pear Tart, Cottage Ivy, and Bamboo Leaves. So I'm going to start again with the lighter color. And of course you can always restamp to get a more richer stamp impression. Once I have the solid stamp down, I'm going to come in with a detailed stamp. And again, I'm just going to line up the boxes and the bars, ink up my stamp, and of course apply that to my image. Now you can see how this is all coming together. Once you have it all stamped up, then you can come add in your die, and then you'll cut them all out in one pass. So here's the third stamp, again lined it up, going in with my darkest ink, adding in those details, making sure that I'm cleaning my stamps along the way. All right, here's the third pass. So I'm going to go ahead, ink up this stamp. I had it aligned with the bars in the boxes. And there we go, my beautiful florals and my foliage all stamped. Now notice there's some open spaces there in the top flowers. I'm going to fill those in. This stamp set does include the middle portions of the flowers, so I'm going to fill those open spaces in with one of the stamp designs. So I'm just going to ink that up using some grape jelly. I'm using my darkest color. And I'm just going to apply that right there in the middle of the flower to complete those two flowers there at the top. Once that's done, I am ready to die cut. So look how beautiful those flowers are, very pretty. Now using the coordinating die, I'm going to align the die right over the entire stamped piece. Look how simple that is. So you don't have to die cut each individual one out using multiple dies. You just use one die and it'll cut it out in one pass. So I'm using some purple tape to hold my die into place. And once that's done, I'm just going to go ahead and run that through my die cutting machine. Now all of my images are cut in just one pass, makes it really super quick and simple. And I have this complete set of flowers in little foliage and leaves that I can then use on a project. I am seeing more and more of these types of dies and stamp sets on the market, and it just makes it so simple to create really beautiful layered stamped images that you can use on any project, whether it be scrapbooking or cards. So speaking of scrapbooking, let's make a layout using these beautiful layered floral images. So I have some pattern paper from my stash. I also have some other elements from my stash that coordinate with the colors of the ink that I use for those layered florals. Some Freckle Fawn chipboard pieces. I also have some LA Studio, some Bella Boulevard things as well. I might use those rub-ons, but I'm not sure. I have some puffy stickers that I definitely want to use. Notice I didn't pull out a whole bunch of embellishments because the flowers are the star here on this layout. So I have a photo that I printed 4x6, but I did trim it down just a little bit. This is a selfie from a project that I recently participated in on Instagram that was hosted by Allie Edwards called Pieces of Us. And I will share more of that project down the road, maybe sometime next week. I layered the photo using some pattern paper from Felicity Jane, and then I mounted all of that on a piece of pattern paper. I believe that's from Maggie Holmes. Next up, I want to work on my title using the fill-in stamp set. So I'm going to use the word smile, and I'm going to fill that in with a phrase that says these moments. So I'm using some tuxedo black ink for Memento. I'm looking for that little phrase. I'm going to fill it in the opening spaces there of the L and the E, and this is going to give a really cool effect. So you can use a stamp on cards, traveler's notebooks, or scrapbook spreads. Love how that looks. Fantastic. Next up, I'm going to create an asymmetrical design using all of those flowers that I stamped and I die cut. So I'm simply going to create a large cluster that's kind of swag a little bit over the photo, just a tiny bit, there to the top left-hand side. Now, there's no rhyme or reason for this. I'm just layering it based on how well it looks to me. And then I'm going to create a small cluster towards the bottom, again, using those beautiful die-cut flowers. Now, featured in the die cut and the stamp are these little berries that you can also tuck into your clusters. There's also a little single flower with a stem, as well as a bunch of those leaves and those different sizes. Beautiful. So you can just layer and tuck those as much as you want. So I'm adding in just a few more little finishing details, trying to decide if I'm going to use all of those pieces that I cut, but I don't use them all. In fact, I gave the rest of them to my daughter that she can use on her scrapbooking projects. Once I have the flowers and the foliage all in place, I'm going to go ahead and use a little bit of adhesive to tack those down to the background. I'm also going to use some fun foam because what I want to do, or actually not fun foam, but foam squares, what I want to do is I want to pop up some of those flowers to give them some dimension and movement on the layout. Again, just tucking in some more of those little berries there at the bottom. It just really makes the cluster stand out. Also have a little bit more leaves, just adding those finishing details, and then again popping up some more of those flowers using some foam squares. And with that, my layered clusters are all done. I love the way this looks. You can really customize these flowers, maybe use some heat embossing to add a little bit of shine and shimmer to the flowers as well, using different ink color combinations. I mean, so many things that you can do to really make these flowers pop. I'm going to add just a few finishing details. I have this puffy sticker that says Today's Adventure. That's from LA Studio. I also have these Freckle Fawn chipboard labels that I want to use, and I was going to go with one that said something about adventures today, but I went ahead and switched it out for one that says The Best of Times. I also am adding just a little bit of foam behind the puffy sticker there at the top that says Today's Adventure, because that needed to stand up just a tiny bit. And then I figured I needed just a little bit more on this page. It's a lot of purple, which purple is one of my favorite colors, and I like the different hues that I have going on here. But I wanted to add in a little bit of shine, so I grabbed these gold foiled hearts from Ellie's Studio, and I'm just sprinkling them in the clusters, just tucking them behind the label and a little bit behind the flowers and the leaves, just so they look like they're peeking out. I'm going to repeat the same technique here at the bottom, adding in those hearts and just tucking them ever so slightly underneath the photos so that they're peeking out. I love the way that looks. It's so beautiful. To finish this layout, I'm going to add in some journaling strips, and the journaling says, "These days I'm feeling super confident, loving the person I'm becoming, living my life unapologetically. I know exactly what I want and what I don't want. I'm humbled by what I don't know. I have more questions than I do answers. What I know for sure is that no matter what happens, I must continue to smile. Everything will be okay." And I've been doing this type of journaling, this documenting a lot in my scrapbook that's just about me, just a lot of introspective scrapbooking. Because of course those stories matter and we should definitely document them. So the journaling strips I typed using my computer, printed those out, cut them up, and ran them through my Xyron sticker maker and adhered them straight to my layout. So here's the complete project. I love those layered stamps. This stamp set makes it so easy to create this type of design. Of course, you can use this on a scrapbook page. You can use it on a card, a traveler's notebook, any project. And I like the fact that the stamp includes guides, the little lines and bars, so I know exactly where to stamp all of those beautiful layers. Now, I mentioned that this is a video hop, and there is a giveaway that's associated with this hop. So the Ton Stamps is giving away one stamp of your choice from the February release. To qualify, what you want to do is you want to follow all the channels participating in this hop. A list of those channels are in the description box below. So you'll leave a comment on each channel by February 26th by 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 3 winners will be chosen from the comment section and will be announced on the Tons blog on February 29th. So all this information is in the description box and on the Victoria Marie blog. A big thank you to the Ton Stamps for having me as a guest designer, for participating in this video hop. If you like what you see here on this YouTube channel, make sure you click the subscribe button. When you do, click the bell indicator. That way you'll know each and every time a new video is posted. I'll see you next time.